Well, for more on today's funeral service for renowned photographer and activist Peter Magubane, we cross now to SABC News senior reporter Chriselda Lewis. Chriselda, good morning. So that funeral service in Bryanston, we expect President Cyril Ramaphosa to deliver the eulogy this morning. But tell us more about what's happening at the moment and also what to expect on the program.
Well, that's right, Sakina. A world-acclaimed photojournalist, Dr. Peter Magubane, will be laid to rest at the Fourways Memorial Park here in Johannesburg. But the service before his body is taken there will be held here at the Bryanston Methodist Church. Dr. Magubane, since his passing, being remembered as a man who used his lens to fight and expose the atrocities of apartheid South Africa. Dr. Magubane also being accorded a special Provincial Official Funeral as a symbol of his contribution to the struggle for freedom. So it was his pictures, Sakina, that content of his and that of his colleagues that moved the world. And that is in part why so many say there was so much international solidarity for Black South Africans. It's those images that the world got to see. Dr. Magubane also being harassed and arrested multiple times by apartheid police. At one point, you'd recall, while covering the funeral of a student activist, he was also shot 17 times with rubber bullets. His house was also burnt down. His nose was broken with a baton when he refused to expose his film to light while filming some of those ongoing atrocities. Magubane also covering some of the most prolific or major political events in South Africa. I think it was round about between 1956 and 1961 where Dr. Magubane took photographs of the historic Women's March to the Union buildings, that of course being in Pretoria. He also took pictures of the treason trial, you recall, which saw over 100 national leaders tried for high treason after the adoption of the Freedom Charter at the Congress of the People in Kliptown in 1956. So many people, both young and old, have been inspired by Dr. Magubane and what he managed to do with his lens. You would recall, of course, that while many took up arms at that time to fight, the brutality of apartheid, he instead, his weapon, many have said, his weapon was the lens. That's what he used to capture and expose exactly what was taking place in South Africa at the time. One of the people who is scheduled to speak here at the service here this morning is a photographer himself, Siphiwe Mhlambi, who has, at the memorial service, paid tribute to Dr. Magubane, indicating or shedding some light on the role that he played in shaping his own career. Mr. Mhlambi, thank you very much for your time this morning. We really do appreciate it. I mean, as you said at the memorial service, quite a loss, an indelible mark that has been made to colleagues such as yourself and the kind of person that he was, general, always willing to assist.
Absolutely. Most of us wouldn't be here today hadn't it be his assistant. He was just a man that I think he lived his life at the right time. When the country was going through what was going through, I cannot single-handedly find out or get to guess who would have done the work that he did. He did an amazing work that got us here today. We are all free, well, to a certain extent, but he did a brilliant job. And I was inspired by that, and that's why I became part of his team.
I think we're going to chat about this much more later on as well and hear from you on the podium as well. Thank you so much for taking time to speak to us, Mr. Siphiwe Mhlambi, who is a photographer, of course, acclaimed also here in South Africa, was inspired, one of the photojournalists inspired by the work of Dr. Peter Magubane. Indeed, President Cyril Ramaphosa will be delivering that eulogy. We're expecting the service itself to get underway at 9 o'clock this morning.